Hello and welcome. This is TVioSP's broadcasting live from the vault in our stars. We have just finished playing A Plague Tale. This whole time I've been calling it A Plague's Tale. Incorrect. The subtitle, Innocence. I still don't quite get what the Innocence part stands for, although maybe I'll develop it as I do the review. This is going to be a half spoilers, half not spoilers. We'll start with the not part of the spoilering first, and then I'll warn you when the spoilers come if you want to disengage. Okay, first I'll just read the back here. It says, follow the grim tale of young Amicia and her little brother Hugo in a heart-rending journey through the darkest hours of history, haunted by Inquisition, soldiers, and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats. Amicia and Hugo will come to trust each other, fighting to find purpose in the unforgiving world. This game I got for Halloween. Halloween's tomorrow, and for the month of October, I wanted something eerie and scary to play. And as you can see here in the back, and from the screen, it has dark undertones, and it did not disappoint. It was very scary at times and foreboding, and it really just gave a really awesome atmosphere to the Halloween spirit. Some notes I took. First things that I want to consider when I'm scoring, the marketing. I didn't hear anything about this game. I usually will pick up a game that's on sale at the store, or if it has good marketing and it fits my my aesthetic, maybe I'll try and get it when it's out. But for the most part, I didn't hear anything about this, and it was just on the sale rack. And I think it came out fairly recently too, to be on the sale rack, so that tells me also the marketing might not have been that great for how good of a game it is. The graphics, let's jump into it. It is about a 17 chapter, I'd say 16 chapter long game, and as you can see, the graphics are realistic. They're going for a really realistic world development. Your people are extremely real looking. There's not too much what's that word called? Hidden valley, something with the face. And I really appreciate that. And also, along with the graphics, not a lot of like weird glitching or anything going on. Everything seems really flowy, very well. Aside from the graphics, the art, like I said, they chose to go for this realistic art style, and the graphics, they had the graphics to do that, thankfully, but the art in this game is really amazing. There seems to always be some sort of atmosphere going on, leaves falling, dust flowing through the air, wind blowing, rustling of the leaves, the water flowing. Everything is so consistent and pretty. The fibers on her clothes, I talked about the clothes in this game the whole entire time, because they're just so pretty. Look, you can tell that she's soaking wet, and her clothes are stuck on her. That's really good. The storyline. So we're here with Hugo and Amicia. No spoilers here, by the way. They're brother and sister, and they are on the run from the Inquisition in 14th century, I keep saying Italy, and nothing has corrected me. It could be France, but I went through the whole game not knowing which one, so I don't think it's going to affect you. so that in itself is a fun storyline. We're also during the Black Plague, so there's lots of disease, and we have to be careful of rats that attack in giant swarms. So you're running from the Inquisition and a plague of rats. That's pretty much the storyline, other than we know that our brother has been sick pretty much since he's been born, and our mother has been taking care of him hidden away, and when the game starts out, we gain access to the child. How do I say that correctly? The Inquisition comes to our house, and a bunch of stuff happens, to which now we have our brother with us, and we're escaping the Inquisition. So that's, you start out with the storyline, already the Inquisition is basically on your doorstep. And this gets you and your brother out of the house, on the run, through the countryside, dealing with said plague of rats. The characters are amazingly done. Won't say anything too much about the bad guy, other than he's a legit bad guy, and it feels like there's no like redeeming points to him. I don't ever feel bad for him or the situation he or we put him in. And I really enjoy the character building of relationships. Like I said, we don't really know our brother too well at the beginning of the game, but throughout the journey, we go through some stuff together, and you can see the relationship building, and it's not just a switch has been turned on, like, oh, we're brother and sister, so we have to like each other. There's more dynamic to it than that, and that dynamic continues through the game with other characters you meet. Not everyone is just a set good guy, bad guy character. There's dimensions to everyone. For the gameplay, so when you're her, I mean, you're pretty much her throughout the whole entire game. She's the main character. Amasia, I'm always saying her name wrong. She has a slingshot, to which she uses throughout the game. So as far as the gameplay goes, it is a bit of a it's not too much of an open world. You go from point A to point B, and then they'll divert you and distract you as you go. But it's a bit of a shooter, except you have a slingshot. There's not too many. I mean, ammo is where you need it to be. I don't think I ever felt like I was running out of things. Although, no, I don't think there are levels. There might have been levels of hardness. I certainly would have picked the easiest one. And I went to pick the hardest one. So, picking in the middle somewhere, I still had plenty of ammo to play with throughout the game. And nothing was ever too hard. Near the end, all your abilities and all the knowledge that you gain throughout the game obviously is used to finish it. And I think they did a good job setting up that situation and dealing with all that based on how you progress through the game and what you learn and everything. I was never really lost at any point. It's very good at directing you, like I said, point A to point B. So yeah, there's not like a maze or anything was going crazy. The control functions, everything worked really well. A button that was set to do something did it later on in the game. There was no confusion. There is a couple of times when you're by yourself, Amicia, she's wonderful. There's not any glitches, nothing's really going on. Sometimes when you're holding your brother's hand, though, you can get stuck on a tree or a wall or a bucket or anything like that, and that can get annoying. Also, other characters that you meet that may be helping you, I don't think... It's a little confusing on whether the other enemy AIs can see them or cannot see them, because sometimes they're standing out in the open and nobody can see them, and sometimes they're sneaking out to go help you, and then they're caught, and then you're caught, and then the game is over. So there's a little bit of like iffiness on that kind of control functions. The music, as you can hear, there is no music, but there is a wonderful environmental soundtrack.
Yes. Of course.
I would say it's a missed opportunity to have the music. You're in 14th century Italy, maybe France. I would have liked to have heard a little like gesture guy or whatever those people are that are wandering and playing instruments. That would have been kind of fun to hear a lute, maybe, or something around that time. But even without the music, the sounds of crickets and frogs and stuff in the background really do immerse you into the game and bring that feel alive. The mood. I chose this game for Halloween, and like I said, it didn't disappoint.
They're all rotten.
But I'm hungry.
Even in a situation like this where you come across a town and it's deserted, all the food's rotten, the sun's going down, the mood is like set immediately. The frogs and stuff in the background, you're just ready to see what the hell happened here. So 10s across the board in the mood. I really appreciated the atmosphere that it brought to me. I think that is going to be all for non-spoilers. Going into a spoilery review now. Be warned if you don't want to hear anything about this. Okay, so the game was very amazing, very fun. I loved how realistic it was. Obviously, it's on Earth, and it's in a real time in history, and during a real part of history, the Black Plague, and how that went. And then all of a sudden, maybe halfway through the game, a little bit of sci-fi and fantasy pop in, where you start realizing that the disease that your brother has isn't quite the same disease as the rats, but there's a relation there, because he's not dying from the Black Plague like everyone else is. And so maybe you think he's got the cure or something like that, but it turns out he has an evolved form of the disease, and when it evolves to its max potential, whatever that means, he's able to now control the rats with the plague. And so that brings a whole different dynamic to the game, where now the threat that you've been evading the whole time is one of your helpers and components, and I really appreciated that switch of the game. You do get to meet a lot of fun characters, and I was gonna go to lessons, but I saved lessons for the spoiler area because I can't quite get what they're trying to tell me, if there is a lesson, if there isn't a lesson. But things I've noticed. All the parents have died. Like, we start out in the game, our parents are being killed. Then we meet some twins whose family had died and they're like thieves on the road now. And then we meet, actually before the thieves, we're trying to meet a sorcerer type guy, an alchemist, and as soon as we meet him, he dies, but his apprentice helps us. And then later on, we need a smith. He dies, or he's already dead, maybe. But it's his apprentice that helps us. So it's constantly this, like, the next generation is what's actually doing the positive work, and maybe the previous generation set up the failure that the next generation has to fix. That might be the lesson. I'm not quite sure. Otherwise, there were a few sad parts. I lost a character that I liked a lot. I don't even think I'll spoil it for the spoilers. And there were a couple of characters that I didn't care about. Well, that being said, no, I have to say who it is, otherwise you're not going to know who I'm talking about, because there are multiple people that die. Heavy spoilers. I really wanted Roderick to live and see how that the future would go with him and Amicia, because if this game is about the next generation solving the problems of the previous, I mean, I guess there's Lucas, that they can build a family together, but at the end, they get their own little castle, and it's Amicia, her brother, another heavy spoilers, the mom is still alive, and then the last, and then one other guy that survives. So, yeah, I guess Amicia could hook up with that other guy. It's just disappointing to see that they were starting to build, like, a little village and a little town and everything was happening, and then half of them died by the end of the game, and now there's no one in their village, and at the end of the game, they kind of leave their village and continue going on, because we find out, even though they did all the work to kill the Grand Inquisitor, the head of the Inquisition, someone is still after them, and they had to leave their hometown, which sets it up for a good sequel. I would totally be up for a sequel, but now knowing all the surprises, I wonder how they would do that. The plague is starting to go down. We already know that the kid can control the rats, so how would you start up the game? I don't really care for sequels when they're like, then you just got hit in the back of the head and you lost all your memory and now you have to start from the beginning. I'd much rather have a game that lets you build from the knowledge that you already know from the first game, and then they expand on that. Why can't a game start out with your powers are controlling rats and then see where you grow from that moment? Anyway, overall scoring for this game, I'm giving it an 8.9. That's so close to being where's my scoring? That's so close to being a necessity. I would call this game a necessity, but without a lesson or the motivation of the creators of why this game is as good as it is, it's hard to tell other people to play it. Otherwise, I'm just saying, enjoy this journey. I'm not giving any type of treasure at the end of it. So that's why it doesn't make it to a 9. Otherwise, this game was really awesome, and I hope people play it, because I had never heard of it before. I got it. So thank you for watching me play. It was really fun. Happy Halloween tomorrow, and I will catch you later. This is Tyrell VA signing off from the vault in our stars. But thank you, and I appreciate you for watching.